We're going to have to set more chairs up next week, I think.
Yeah.
Ooh, isn't that wonderful? Look at you. Look at you. Just look at you. Just look at you all. You're so magnificent. So, living out loud clearly isn't a challenge for me. For those of you who don't know me, living out loud is not a challenge for me. And I get to talk about vulnerability today, the power of vulnerability. And I don't know if any of you know what I do for a living, but what I do for a living is help people become vulnerable. So here I am once again talking about my favorite thing, talking about vulnerability. So I'm going to discuss letting go and letting in, but I really think letting go and surrender is this beautiful thing about actually giving up. I am giving up something to give in to that which is the power and presence of an infinite intelligence that holds my heart and fashions my footing. So the power of vulnerability. Brene Brown says vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, and creativity. It is the source of hope, empathy, accountability, and authenticity. These are topics that we love to talk about here in this community, right? The sense of love, the sense of belonging, joy, and courage. The pathway of this beautiful expression of vulnerability. Vulnerability is a key ingredient in personal transformation, and it creates an expanded awareness of what lies below the surface of who we are. That surface expression of the mask that we wear out into the world every day. Vulnerability allows us to layer by layer shed those experiences and expressions that do not serve us. So vulnerability is the key ingredient, and as we look at vulnerability through this lens, we begin to see how vulnerability is the building block for a thriving community, a healthy community. Oh, my goodness. So for me, vulnerability requires unmeasurable faith. Being vulnerable with one another, that requires unmeasurable faith. And isn't it wonderful that faith is unmeasurable? And so we just have to tap into that piece of ourself that is already aware of who we are. And letting go of those fabrications, illusions, and stories we've told ourselves that we are unworthy, that we don't deserve the things, that we don't deserve to belong in community. These are stories we tell ourselves. These are stories that we allow impressed upon our mind. And giving up these stories will change our lives. Giving up these stories, letting our vulnerable, authentic self be realized in the fullness of this life that is living us. We get to give it up. I said I have a mentor. I think everyone needs a mentor. Everyone needs a coach. Everyone needs a prayer practitioner. Everyone needs a prayer partner. If you don't have these things, you're not willing to be vulnerable. So, get these things. I have a mentor, I have a coach, I have a prayer partner, I have a prayer practitioner. There are people unwilling to pay money to help me clear my mind. It's a wonderful thing. So, I was talking to my mentor, Reverend Dr. Jonathan Sands. He's life-changing. He's my spiritual leader. He's this beautiful soul, and he's been in my life for going on 8 years now, and he is always sitting there ready for me to say something, and then pull out the big cosmic 2x4 of truth, right? So there I am. I'm saying my stuff, and he said, maybe it's not giving up, but giving up. And just the change in our use of the vibrational frequency of how we say something changes everything, right? I was giving up. I was giving up on my dreams, my hopes, my strength. I was giving up on all of those things. But what if I give up to the highest expression of who I am? What if I give up to that power and presence that holds the infinite universe in its place and allow whatever it is to be, I think vulnerability is the superhighway to that authentic expression, to the real expression of who you are. Vulnerability is the superhighway to your highest and best self. The self that knows inside of you, knows that you can't fail once you've made the decision. But we have to be vulnerable to even look at a decision. We make thousands of decisions every single day, and we don't think anything of it. Do I get up out of bed today? Check. Do I brush my teeth? Do I use a new toothbrush or the one that I've been using for 3 years? Is it time for a new toothbrush? These are decisions that we make so simply, so easily. But when it comes to being vulnerable, we put barriers up. We put barricades and we put up the foundation. We stir in our mortar and we start layering the bricks around a soul that is perfect. So being vulnerability is allowing your intuitive self, that inner super highway to the divine power and presence, to live your best self. Ernest Holmes said in The Science of Mind, always there is an inner quiet, persistent confidence, a non-resistant but complete acceptance, an inward flowing with the stream of life, knowing that it carries me safely and surely to my destination and to the accomplishment of every good purpose. Letting go into that. Letting go of your vulnerability. Letting go of that fear that we have of being known. Because we all want to be known. We want to be known. That's why we're in community. That's why we have friends. That's why we try new things. Oh, trying new things, that's vulnerability. Coming back to something we've been apart from for a while, it's vulnerability. And there is something that is inside of you, that glorious gut. Oh. That glorious gut that knows the power of who you are, knows the expression of the divinity that has woven itself into the very fabric and fiber of everything you are. And when you know who you are, it's no longer vulnerable. It's authenticity. All you are doing is stepping into your fullest expression. And so we have to be vulnerable together. We get to make these experiences joyful for one another so that we can be a part of a healthy and vibrant community. We have to be willing to sit around the same table and to talk about, figure out what it is we want to accomplish in this life together. Because when we're just talking with little circles, we're not being our true, authentic, vulnerable selves as a whole. And so there's this important expression of being present for each other that is the gift of one another. When we show our vulnerability to another, when I open up to you and I gift that to you, I'm letting you into something sacred. And when you share something with me, when you share your vulnerability with me, when you share something of yourself with me, you are gifting me something sacred and holy. We are divinity, circulating divinity. We are powerful presence, knowing each other. Linda Martello Whitsitt wrote in The Divine Audacity, she was quoting someone, and I will get that quote. But it said, I am in you, and you are in me. Where you are, there I am. I am sown in all things, and when you gather me, it is you yourself who you gather. So sharing our vulnerability with one another is finding all the pieces of ourselves. We're finding all the pieces of ourselves that's scattered at the expression of the creation of the infinite and eternal substance and source of life with a thought, the first thought, I am. So showing your I am to the world is brilliant. It is the gift you give each and every one of us. And your vulnerability is the sacredness of this beautiful journey of life, expanding and exploring the infinite through you. We have to be willing. We have to be willing to look at our stuff. We have to be willing and open to see who we really are. Who are we in our closets? Who are we in our kitchen? Who are we in our bedrooms is irrelevant to who we are in the expression of the infinite reflection. And so knowing that means that we need to learn more about who we are. We need to be willing to look at ourselves, to question, where's this thought coming from? Is this my thought? Oh man, have I ever discovered in the last 3 months how indoctrinated I have been to society? I have a beautiful friend in my life now. She's a brand new friend and she's a soul friend. Oh my goodness, I'm not leaving her behind. She said to me months ago, I'm just here to decolonize my mind. Oh my goodness, you're here to decolonize your mind? I don't even begin to fathom where to start. And she's just gonna do it. She's gonna take it on for all of us. She's doing that work for all of us. Do you know how vulnerable she is in every single room she comes into now? Because there's something in her mind that knows this isn't mine. This is centuries of stuff. Centuries of stuff. But if we're not vulnerable to ask the questions, why do we do this? What is behind this tradition of this community? What's going on here? So here's my vulnerability. Every time I walk into a room and I say, I'm a minister. Oh, do you know what it looks like on someone's face? I've just met them. They've just found out after a 10-minute conversation that I'm a minister. They rewind in their mind the last 10 minutes and to make sure they didn't cuss. Well, holy shit, imagine if someone cussed. We have to be willing to be vulnerable and share ourselves, no matter knowing how many looks I get, right? I'm not gonna apologize for doing the work it took to get here. I'm not gonna apologize for doing all of the work on myself to get here. And that took mountains and mountains of vulnerability, accountability, responsibility, all these words everybody hates so much. Oh, commitment. So it comes down to this one beautiful expression of self-acceptance. Radical self-acceptance. Radical self-acceptance. Love yourself no matter what. No matter how many, you can look at your past. No matter how many times you've fallen down, how many times more did you get up? How many more times did you stand up, dust yourself off, and try again? I can guarantee you, because you're sitting in this room, at least one more time than you've fallen down. That's the power that is in you. So self-acceptance, no matter how many mistakes you've made, there's always an opportunity to be accountable and responsible and to clear the slate. Always, every moment, there's an opportunity to change your mind, change your behavior. There's a beautiful soul in my life, Wayne Baldwin. He follows Wake Up, Say Thank You. He's all over the place. You've probably seen him in threads everywhere. He says, catch it, check it, change it. 3 words. Catch it, check it, change it. He knows I quote him all the time, so it's okay. Catch it, catch your behavior, catch your thoughts. Be reflective of who you are and what you want in this life. Is it in alignment with what you say you want in your life? Is your actions and your words what is showing up? Catch it. Check it. Change it. This is Science of Mind right here. 3 words, Science of Mind, the wholeness of it. So, self-acceptance. Again, Linda Martella wrote that every one of us is capable of expressing in any moment something of the nature of God. It's because we aren't separate from that power. We aren't separate from the nature of the divine. We aren't separate from the God self that is living and breathing and having its being. Here's something else. I even wrote this. I write how I talk. It's in the Bible, y'all. It's in the Bible. This 2,000-year-old premise. In Matthew 5:14, it's written, "You are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hid. No one, after lighting a lamp, puts it under a bushel basket, but on a lampstand and gives its light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven." So let's just unpack Father in heaven, the glorious divine presence that is back of all things. Right? Catch it, check it, change it. You don't like the term Father in heaven? You don't like God? Change it. It's yours to change. Translate it for you. Take it in for what it is that is yours. So being vulnerable in this beautiful expression is the super highway to your higher self. And we get to do this in community. So I'm going to share with you the important part about vulnerability in community. Just a reminder that community is here for the sticky and the sweet. Because life is about the sticky and the sweet. The divine is in that sticky stuff where we fall down and get up. And divine is in the glory and the grace when we get to celebrate the promotion. And that is a part of being in community, that we celebrate each other's promotions. We celebrate each other's growth. We celebrate each other's waking up. And we hold each other when we fall down. We recognize within the other that which is within us. We have fallen down. And we've gotten up. And so we hold that vulnerability with each other. We are a sacred community. We are sacred people doing sacred work. And we, in the Science of Mind experience, we are really practicing one thing. We are getting to a place of wholeness. And that everyone in this building and all these beautiful souls on Zoom, there's only one thing happening here. It's wholeness. We are all the little cells of divinity finding one another so that we can remember and remind each other. We can't do that without being vulnerable. We can't do that without opening ourselves up, opening our heart and our minds to something greater even still. So I've been doing conscious leadership work for years, a decade maybe. And conscious leadership is something I study, it's something I embody, it's something I grow into, and I'm only halfway there. I have look at all those packages and suitcases I haven't unpacked yet. I need you to help me unpack those. So when we come together in community, I have this beautiful list of things. It's from Hidden Wholeness. They're called the Touchstones. And it's written by Parker J. Palmer. And this is how I show up in community. And this is in the beginning of every class I teach, every meeting I hold, every opportunity to be in the expression of this is valuable. And so these touchstones are that when I enter a space, I extend and receive welcome. I am present as fully as possible. I recognize that what is offered in the circle is by invitation and not demand. We don't owe anybody anything, not even ourselves. When we are in this space, we speak our truth in ways that respect other people's truth. This is my favorite one. No fixing, no saving, no advising, no setting each other straight. Vulnerability right there. We learn to respond to others with honest, open questions instead of counsel or correction. When the going gets rough, we turn to wonder. What just happened to make this feel rough? Because I know it's not rough. It's divine. So staying in that wonder, staying in that curiosity, we attend to our own inner teacher. What is my gut saying here? What is my intuitive self nudging me towards? We trust and learn from the silence. Oh, I don't have to fill the space with the sound of my voice? We observe deep confidentiality. And we know, this is a good one, we know that it is possible to leave this space with whatever it was we needed when we arrived. This is how a community of conscious people can grow and evolve, when we stand together. Brené Brown said, when you shut down vulnerability, you shut down the door to opportunity. So we get to take a look at our aspects, all these beautiful aspects of ourselves. Because that's really what this is. The science of mind is a teaching of individuality. But we, as this human species, Wes and I were talking about this morning, the human species, we are tribal people. So science of minders, we want to recognize this beautiful mind, our individuality, and this powerful expression of self-actualization. And the human soul that is within us, that human part of us, wants to do it with each other. We want to be in this space together. We want to grow together. We want to celebrate each other. And we can't do that without getting our bloated nothingness out of the way, as Emerson would say. And we can't do this without each other. The only reason I'm smooth and polished as I am today is because I was willing to be in that rock tumbler with everybody in my life and get all the juice from every moment, every relationship, every experience. What is in this moment for me so that I can take it into the world? That's the beauty of vulnerability. Your gift of waking up yourself is the gift you give everyone. So let go. That's how we started, right? Let go. Let go of what you know and let the absolute pure and radiant power into all that you are. Let it in. All that you do. Be audaciously vulnerable and discover within you the superhighway to your highest and best expression. Thank you for listening.